What up guys, welcome to the Drone Zone. Today we're talking batteries. Not this kind though, the lithium polymer, or otherwise known as LiPo. Lithium polymer basically stands for the production method, what they're made out of, and how they do it. So if you want to go have a look at that, then I'm not going to bore you with it in this video. This is just a quick video to sort of discuss what all these ratings mean, what the different words and symbols mean on your batteries. So if you're new to the hobby and getting confused, hopefully this video will help you out. So the first thing we're going to look at is cell number. You can see this here, this tiny, very little one. This is only a 1-cell battery compared to this one here, which is a 2. So you can see we've got 2 cells which are separated all the way up until they're connected at the top, and these are where the wires go in. So the cell count basically determines the voltage of your battery, as you'll be able to tell here on this little one. One cell is equal to 3.7 volts. So each cell is 3.7 volts, so times it by 2, then you'll get 7.4 volts for a 2 cell. Times it by 3, you'll get 11.1 volts for a 3 cell, and times it by 4 and you get 14.8 volts, as it says on here, for a 4 cell battery. So taking a closer look at this, you'll see we've got the voltage rating on there. We've also got this milliamp hour rating, 1300 milliamp hours. What does that mean? So that is basically the maximum capacity that your battery can hold, so sort of the energy that it stores. So if you were to discharge this over 1300 amps, then that would take an hour to discharge. Obviously, you're not going to be doing that. You're probably going to be using 24 amp ESCs or something like that. So if you use 24 amp ESCs, which is 2400 milliamps, then 1300 divided by 2400 is going to be 0.05. So that's 0.05 of an hour, which is 3 minutes. So this will discharge in 3 minutes if you put it over 24 amps. Obviously, that's not going to be exactly the same if you put it in the drone. There's going to be some caveats there. So you're not going to get 3 minutes of flight time. Don't worry about that. It'll be a bit different. But that's the ideal scenario. This would take 3 minutes to discharge over a 24 amp ESC. So the higher this number, the longer your battery is going to last. There's obviously a fine point there because you can't have this too high. Otherwise, the battery is going to be too big and heavy for your drone to actually lift off. So have a scout about, see what you can get. Maybe go for a 1500 or maybe a 2000 if you can, but usually they're going to be quite heavy, especially if you're getting more cells in there. So what about this C rating here? What does that mean? Well, that is the maximum discharge rate that it would be safe to discharge your battery at. So if you times the milliamp hours and the C rating, then you're going to get a maximum current draw, which is going to be measured in amps. So in this case, 1300 times 45C, that is going to be 58.5 amps. So I could safely discharge or draw 58.5 amps from this. However, there is a rule, sort of an unwritten rule, that if you say you want to draw 50 amps from a battery, 50 amps in your components, then you want your battery to be able to handle at least 100. It's usually double what you want to draw, so at least 100 amps you would want your battery to be able to handle. So we can see that in the case of a 24 amp ESC, this will be fine because it can handle up to 58 amps. But if you want to draw 58 amps from this, then I wouldn't suggest it, because you're going to want to have usually about double. So a battery that could handle, say, 116 amps, then you want to be handling that. Okay, so in addition to this C rating, it's not actually listed on this battery, but there's usually 2 C ratings. There's the low one and the higher one. The higher one, it's not quite double, but it's usually a little bit higher than this rating, and that is the sort of burst discharge rate that it's safe to discharge at. So, you know, if you're going to be taking off the start line or doing some awesome 3D maneuvers on your drone, then you're going to be sort of bursting the discharge from your battery. So that is basically the safest discharge in burst that you can have, so for a couple of seconds, but you don't want to be discharging for anything higher than that for anything longer than a couple of seconds. So in general, the higher the C rating, the better. It's not going to be a disadvantage if you've got a higher one in there, and it basically means you can draw a lot more power out of it. So if you're going to be doing some awesome 3D maneuvers and things like that, then go for a higher C rating. But if you're just cruising about, getting into quadcopters, then don't worry about a really high C rating, because you're not going to be needing it. Something like 30 to 40 C rating is going to be fine for you. So this higher the C rating, generally the more expensive the battery. So if you're just getting into the hobby, then by all means get a lower C rating, maybe like I said, 30 to 40. So anyway guys, this has just been sort of a very quick introduction to batteries. I might do a few more videos on safe handling and how to maximize your life of batteries. This has just been for anyone new getting into the hobby, wanting to understand a couple of things about batteries. So I hope it's been useful. Stick around guys, and I'll see you next time.